Hello, and welcome to Align's webinar entitled Demystify Your IT Infrastructure with a Current State Assessment. My name is Art Dooling, and I am a principal of Align who's been with Align for 36 years when our doors first opened. For approximately the past 20 years, I've actually been the migration lead of our solution to our clients. I'm going to be joined today by Domingo Chen and Frank Maniaci, who are senior project managers helping clients with their current state assessment, as well as the entire phase for a migration program, taking them through not only the current state, but the planning, bundling, and execution phase. For those of you who don't know Align, we have three lines of business. Our first line of business is the workplace technology, which is really focused on the end user experience. Whether relocating headquarters or building out branch offices, we provide the technology services to make sure that the end user gets their information. We do that through smart office design. We do it through Wi-Fi and AV. It's really making sure that that end user is able to access their information in a good experience, whether they're in the office, whether they're working from home, or somewhere else remotely. We have a managed service solution, which is built in the Azure stack. It's customized towards the small to mid-sized businesses, firms like hedge funds and equity firms, professional services firms that really don't want an IT staff and they'd like Align to manage their back office information. So we do that in the Azure stack, really being proactive with solutions rather than reactive with trouble tickets. And then our third solution is in the data center, and we have two different businesses within the data center. One is our design and build, which are the folks that go in and actually design and lay out what a data center should be from a cabinet, ladder rack, copper, glass, power, hot and cold aisle containment. And they're specialists because we really understand the technology that's going into these facilities and can be cost effective about where to lay it out and how to make sure that there's infrastructure to be able to distribute that information. And then we have the group that I lead, which is the migration and cloud group, which really helps clients look at what they have in a current state and where they are today in their source facilities and where do they want to go in the future. What is that target end zone that they want to get to, whether it be cloud-based, on-prem, in a colo provider, wherever that end state may be. So again, today we're going to be focusing on really the first step, which is of any transformation, which is our current state assessment. We'll be showing you our process, how we do it, how we conduct it, what are the benefits, will you be able to get out of it, and how you can take that and move forward to have a really good strategy for your data center portfolio. So why conduct the current state assessment? There are a ton of good reasons why, and they're all very efficient and they are all cost effective in the long run. First can be certainly just the fact that it's an audit, and you really need to be able to provide reports. You need to make sure that you don't have any single points of failure, and you want to have everything ready for when that auditor and that compliance comes down to be able to show them the information that you have. You might be thinking of some change, whether it be a migration, a consolidation, or even putting in new hardware and upgrading services that you have within your data center. You need to be confident that you know exactly how your applications and workloads are functioning in your current infrastructure, so you know with confidence how to move it and mitigate the risk. There are also opportunities to move applications workloads to the cloud, but how can you be sure? You need to make sure that these applications and workloads are cloud ready, or if not, what are the remediation plans that can get them cloud ready? What is your DR plan? Is there a DR plan that's going to be able to test and be able to frequently, every quarter, every half year, be able to shut down, turn on to make sure that you do and you are in compliant of a DR backup? Those are the opportunities with a current state assessment. Even unfortunate events happen like outages. So what is the upstream, downstream impact on the other applications and workloads? And do you have the process to really quickly remedy those outages? Current state assessments are a huge benefactor for all of these types of potential situations. So how do we do our current state assessment? Well, it's really key three key ingredients that we look at. We look at the process that we have, which we'll be able to take you through. It's the people and it's the information that's being examined and analyzed and put into smart information for people to see and be able to understand. And then it's the tools that we use, whether it's inventory tools, discovery tools. It's being able to put that process, those people, and those tools all together so that in the end you come up with application profiles and workload profiles that are understanding so you see exactly how they are functioning in your environment. First, we do the process. The process, we put boots on the ground. We get down and go into data centers and roll up our sleeves and do inventories that really gather every criteria of a device required, whether it's where it sits in a cabinet and its U height, manufacturer, model, gen, is it on, off, amber? Did some SA potentially shut the box down? What is the connectivity to the box? How much power does it use? We really go in and get that true detail so we can have somewhat of not only a cabinet elevation of where everything sits so people can find it, but also what is the end of life and end of support that we can put together so that you can look ahead to see how budgets should be laid out in years to come because you have some expiring equipment. We then look at the logical side of it. And the logical side can happen in two ways. It can be very manual through spreadsheets and resource heavy, or it can be through automated tools that you may have installed or ones that a line can bring in, which are agentless and gather that information. Once you have that physical and that logical, then you need to put it together and confirm it with the application owners or the business units. And this is where we're able to give information to them that is probably 80 to 85% accurate, that we need to then go to them and say, okay, what is it that's missing? Potentially when these scans happen, it's not during an end of month or end of quarter, and we can go to them and pull out information out of their head to make sure that remaining 10 yards is there so that we can capture that information and they can confirm it. People, there's a traditional way, which I mentioned, which is a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of people involved because we need different sort of IT discipline folks involved to grab that information for us. There's a lot of mergers of spreadsheets and a lot of data to look at, but it is a process that we've worked on before. It takes a little bit more time. It's time consuming, but there are roles where everyone comes in to make sure that we get it 100%. We're going to have gaps and we're going to need to go back and fill in those gaps. And it just takes people and time to be able to do that. The second way is more the automated way, where there are tools that go out and do that discovery for you, that you can capture that information. So whether or not you have tools deployed in your environment already that we can work with your tools teams to say this is the information we need, or Align has partnered with Device42, which is an agentless discovery tool that goes out and collects the information that we need. We provide information to your compliance and security teams to say this is what we need to deploy it. This is the impact on the environment. It's very clear and very direct. And then that would go out and scan, and then we collect the information from that and combine it with the inventory that we conducted on a physical level to be able to start putting those profiles together so that we can look at it and go through it with your application owners and your business units. So I'd like to now turn it over to Frank Maniaci, who's going to take it over from here and explain Device42.
Thank you, Art, for the introduction. My name is Frank Maniaci. I am a migration lead for Align Communications. My focus is the development of current state assessments and migration planning. These two phases within our process are needed to execute a minimal risk data center migration. One of the primary tools Align uses to develop a current state is Device42. Device42 is a comprehensive IT infrastructure management software suite that we deploy within the client's infrastructure. The tool is configured to run agentless scans via scheduled auto discovery jobs. Device42 has the ability to provide application dependency mapping, which are connections your workload needs to function. Device42 also offers a configuration management database, a CMDB, a data center infrastructure management, DSIM, and IP address management, IPAM, and other functions that help support our current state discovery process. The architecture of Device42 includes a main appliance consisting of the CMDB database and a user graphical interface, along with other collector type components. All of these components are deployed within your data center where they are completely protected by your security infrastructure and policies. So there are no worries about your confidential data getting in the hands of bad actors. After device 42 is integrated in your environment, the team will configure discovery jobs to scan your infrastructure to collect configuration details such as operating systems, software, services, and dependency mapping data. After a period of time, the raw data will be captured in the CMDB of the main appliance, where it will be used later in the process to develop a current state profile with dependency mapping for each application. Now we will dive into the details of how we use the data discovered by device 42 to develop your current state. With that said, I would like to introduce Domingo Chin to discuss this process. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Frank, for giving us an introduction to Device 42. Hi, my name is Domingo Chen, and I am a Senior Project Manager and Migration Lead for Align. As Frank previously mentioned, Device 42 will store the discovered data in a CMDB. This data includes 1, all of your discovered infrastructure, 2, dependency mapping by identifying all services that support your application along with their physical, virtual, and cloud infrastructure, and affinity groups that define your business applications. Data can be queried and shown in a report format, such as you see in the screen here, or in a graphical format. As you can see in either format, there is a large amount of data that is discovered that will need to be analyzed. This slide is a graphical mapping sample of a business application with all its dependent services and infrastructure. We can also show business applications by creating affinity groups that clearly define and isolate application-specific services and infrastructure. Having all this data is great, but how do you transform this into usable and tangible information that you can use to define your current state to help make informed decisions? To help answer this question, Align has developed tools and processes to integrate, normalize, and scrub the discovered data to give you a detailed and accurate current state analysis. This includes 1, an inventory of your physical and virtual IT environment, 2, a profile of your business applications, and 3, a comprehensive application-to-application dependency mapping that includes both downstream and upstream dependencies. With our tools and processes, you'll receive a detailed and accurate report of your IT current state. Thank you for your time, and I will hand it back to Art Doley.
Well, that was great. Thank you, Domingo, and thank you, Frank. We hope that you're really seeing the benefits of why you would like to conduct a current state assessment. Once you have the single source of information from both a physical and logical standpoint, you really are able then to look at your environment and be able to take advantage of what's in the future and what strategy should you be heading for. It's also looking at inefficiencies. What can you improve? Where are there applications that might be duplicated or on different versions? What does it look like from a hardware perspective as far as legacy hardware? It will allow you to be smarter about consolidating and putting some, using more virtualization and consolidating your space and putting your applications either into newer hardware or even off-prem. And all these alternatives provide cost savings because you now have the information to become more strategic, to be able to look ahead, and to be able to kind of shrink that back office or that data center portfolio. So we become your partner. We roll up our sleeves and get under the hood of the car with you. We work with you managing up and down for a cohesive project that blends the best of both of our teams. We use our expertise to the hilt. We've done this day in, day out. It is what we do. Unfortunately, our clients, although they're internal resources are absolutely dynamite and clever. They just don't have enough time in the day. And that's kind of where Align comes in, and we're able to do this, take care of it, and then provide you the information, the expertise on what you use. We do over communicate. There's nothing that is not passed by you or isn't transparent for you to see. We conduct weekly meetings, we chair meetings, we put things out as far as minutes and notes and documents and information. We make sure that nothing is off a timeline, that everything remains on schedule. We'll create those milestones with you to make sure that they stay within those timeframes. And the results is really what you're going to see from being able to look at your information and know exactly what you have. I mean, there can't be any better feeling than that. To really, when people ask you what it's in your data center, you can actually give them an answer that's accurate. We help set up operational skills so that this information does stay up to date and is able to be maintained. And not only does your operations group in the data center, but also your application owners. How do they maintain and keep up information? Information is good when it's done and you're all of a sudden go to next day two and it's out of whack. And that's kind of one of the things that we help with, is making sure there's a process so it doesn't get out of whack. I mean, once we do these current state assessments, there is a return on investment with Align, because now you're being able to be more cost effective going forward. And that's the best thing that you can be when you sort of are working within your data center environment. So we appreciate the attendance. Thank you so much for listening to the webinar. If you'd like a copy of this presentation, or if we can answer any questions or provide any information, please do not hesitate giving us a call and contacting us. Give us a shout. We'd be there right away to help and be available and ready. So anything you need, please just reach out and ask us. Okay, we hope you found this valuable. Thank you very much and appreciate it. Have a good day.